Hey guys, Dr. Whitney here. I'm excited to come on and start answering some of your questions that you've had in the office that we're this month really focusing on how to raise healthy kids. Because school's starting back, winter's just around the corner, so it's important that we start building up our kids' immune system so that they're ready to fight whatever comes their way. And so I know the rest of the doctors and I, our hope is that through this, that you start raising kids that really know what it is to experience life to the fullest because they're healthy and they're strong. And one of the ways they do that is by building a strong immune system. And so the first question that you guys put in the fishbowl was, what do I do with fevers, right? And so my hope is to give you kind of a mom perspective. The other docs are going to jump on and maybe give you some clinical options because I live it every day. I've got 4 kids. We've got 11, 9, 6, and 3. And so I see the gamut of things. But we love fevers in our house. Why? Because fevers are your body's first defense against any kind of thing that it's fighting, any kind of crud that it's fighting. And so fevers, most bacteria, most pathogens can't live in the heat. And so that's why your body starts heating things up to kill them. And so we do not interfere with a fever ever. I've never given my kids anything. They run hot and heavy because their bodies are that in tuned. But the first thing that I always do with a fever is I get them adjusted. And we encourage you to call in the office. If your kid has a fever, we'll get you in off hours or get you in real quick and get you back out so that you're not around other people. And so first and foremost, I always adjust them. I will adjust them multiple times a day. A couple things can happen when you get adjusted. Sometimes it can cause the fever to lower, but sometimes it can cause the fever to go higher because you remove that interference. The brain's able to communicate with the body better, and the body's like, hey, I need some more, I need some more impact. And so the higher that fever goes, it'll start killing things and get the kid better faster. And the second thing, that I do with fevers is, like I said, I just let it run its course. You might have heard like starve a fever. I hardly ever feed my kids when they have a fever. I do not starve them, but I let them tell me. I don't ever force any food in them. My kids, when they have a fever, do a lot of sleeping and I let it happen. I don't even force a ton of water until they ask for it, because your body isn't in the mode of digesting food. It's in the mode of fighting and getting you well. And so I will give them water. Electrolytes are good when they drink. So like coconut water, or like a good source of like the Element, or the other brand's leaving me at the moment, but good source of electrolytes. So when they do drink, they're getting lots of good things in their body. But again, I don't push it. And so I just let them kind of communicate with me what their body's telling them. Hey, if they're hungry, I'll give them something. Like bone broth is great during their sickness, or if they're thirsty, they'll tell me. And so I communicate, but I typically don't force because it allows the body to do what it's supposed to do right now. And that's the fever, and it's fighting. Will I give a bath? Sometimes just to keep them comfortable if they're achy. You can also give a warm bath. I don't give a cool bath to lower it. Remember, I like a fever, so I'll give them a warm bath to help that fever and to support that fever. Other things that I do, again, I don't even give a lot of supplements during the fever because I'm letting their body do what it was designed and intelligently designed to do, which is to fight. And so sometimes I'll give colloidal silver. Sometimes I will give liquid vitamin D, and Dr. Melody will go a little more into that. Sometimes I'll give some Pro-An AC, but again, I typically, once they start, you just don't feel good and you don't want a lot on your stomach. And so I typically don't give them anything when they have a fever. I adjust them, I let them rest, and I support the fever as much as possible and give them lots of snuggles. So I hope this helps. If this leads to any more questions, drop them at the bottom. I'd be happy to answer. Thanks.
So to echo Dr. Whitney, when I see kids in the office who come in with fevers or are sick, they have colds, flu, sinuses, ear infections, all of those things are really expressions of health. They're your child's natural immune system doing exactly the right thing at the exact right time. So we want to honor that. We want to trust that and support it and not get in the way. So I'm all about identifying root cause. It could be that the weather changes, or there's more stress with back to school season, or the foods that your child is eating. All of those things can get your child's immune system to a point that it cannot function well, it cannot adapt well. And so number one, definitely getting them adjusted, extra adjustments, especially if they are expressing health. But beyond that, look at what they're consuming. Don't feed them extra sugars, or things like grains, complex carbs, or processed foods that have a lot of chemicals or additives, because unfortunately those things are going to interfere with your child's healing process. And so we also do have some great supplement support in the office, things like BioRay Immune that will help support some of the symptoms in the short term. But remember, put into perspective and keep in mind that your child has an immune system that's designed to heal, and they're gonna be okay. And so let them ride it out, like Dr. Whitney was saying. And we are always happy to field more questions and offer specific support as you need it.